All right, it must just be the luck of my draw here as I get my feet wet with War of Rights third-person casting. But we got another round of Hagerstown Turnpike, which, if you haven't heard me say before, I love it. I think it's one of the best maps in the game. Colquitt's, Piper's Farm, maybe edge them out, but very good map. In a lot of ways, it kind of appears straightforward, but I think there's a lot of nuances that make it interesting. It's got big Arty for both sides, particularly for the defending CSA, but the Union isn't bad. All that's kind of mitigated by the state of Arty in summer of 2024. But I'm not going to dwell on what we don't have, and we'll pay attention to what we do have. And we look like we have... well... Alright, so we got Vicer. So there are... and you got Ryder. Yeah, so there are several experienced CSA officers. I don't know who's on it this round, so Britt Jackson, that's you got some experience there as well. And Napola for him. Yeah, anyways, so yeah, you got some real quality officers on both sides. That certainly makes a big difference. I did not look at... I don't even know if I can call Arty the X Factor anymore, but I don't know what size Arty we have back here. Usually Brockenbro, at least for me, Brockenbro is the big one. I like that gun right up on that rise. Also in Pogue, I'm a fan, if you can, of moving one of those guns right over to here and just sitting at the point. You can see in the spawn, not that I'd ever advocate shooting at a spawn, that's not what it's there for, but it is there. I saw one Union group go over here. Maybe they're here to guard the... oh, there's two Union groups over here, so let's follow them. I think sometimes the Union goes over here to maybe assist their artillery in moving their guns up early so that they're not harassed by the CSA. CSA can come all the way up here. I believe those rocks are pretty close to out of bounds and just shoot them in the side. It makes it a miserable time. It makes it a bit of a ticket dump. Union has and needs a ticket advantage on Hagerstown, but it's one of those maps potentially you can just go in, it could try to bully the point and dare the CSA to retake it. CSA already usually makes that a bit harder, but we just had a round here where the Union just 34-minute mark just walked onto the point in Hooker's push and just held it in battle ready for 20 minutes and won without CSA ever recapping it once. And that was, again, with good officers on both sides. Relatively small amount of Arty, and we ended up with, what, 260 people at the end of that round. We're starting this one with 250, so that's much better than what we started last round with. It was like 192 or something. So I'd like to see the server fill up, and though Hagerstown, the play area is a little bit smaller, I still like it when it gets full. So let's see what we get here from the Union, see what the plan is. This is what the Union did really well last round, is that, well, maybe not as much right now, but the three Union companies stayed within 100 yards of each other, and a lot of times they were touching wings. Alright, so the Union here is a bit more spread out. We'll go up with this group.
Yeah, keep it spread. Keep it spread. That's why I keep it spread.
Is that faster than natural decay? I feel like you should be on cap here. It's darn close. We got a big CSA group back there. I must be blind. The other ones must be in the woods.
They miss. They fucking miss.
No. That's looking like a pretty fat line. We're still on officer movement and a flag, so that tells me that's at least two companies. Another flag there. Again, it's all stuff we can see that others can't, but... I mean, if you're going to stand here, probably just cap, but I think the CSA is built up big in here, and they're hoping to jump on one of these groups. These groups are close enough to coordinate and help one another. I think this is Brit's group over on the right. No, oh, okay, so I lied. It was Pax's group. This hill here is quite good if you're just looking to hang out and not get shot, and of course you can shoot down.
I told you it worked.
As long as you time your rise on that hill, shoot into the woods, you can do okay. CSA gets a lot of concealment and a fair amount of cover, so you gotta time it right. You don't want to be sitting out in the open too long. You don't want to get shot down and then charged out. Now, as I say that, have I seen a 4th Union flag? Why am I asking you? This is a video. That's 1, 2. That's 3. So some 4th group had to move off here. There's always a 4th Union group. Well, I shouldn't say that. There isn't always, but if there's 4 flags, there's a 4th group somewhere. Alright, so that group has moved off. These guys have moved over to lend their muskets, and they're a little bit now more compact between the 3 groups that are coordinating over here. Man. CSA is rightfully playing it cagey given the ticket indifference. That's why I just feel like as the Union just recap till it's deep into taking losses, and then force the CSA to hang out and try to end it like that. This is just taking time off the black timer that you don't want to give up as attackers. And these guys should be able to tell by the reduced volume of fire coming in that you're the attackers. You don't want to hear reduced volume of fire. You want it to be high. All right, so we've been with the Union for a while. Somebody failed that flag. Game makes thumbnails easy. That sounded like bad breakfast or something. And I guess if you're not getting shot and you're the defenders trying to conserve tickets, I guess this is the right play. These look like Mississippi's that they're holding. I don't remember the full array of weapons here that CSA get. I think there are some with 42s. Obviously, there are some with Mississippi's. The Mississippi, it just has a different sound when it shoots. Arguably, a lot of guns here, if not every gun, has a slightly different sound, but it's distinctive. This can be a confusing map to old new players like, because you have CSA Zouaves with a lot of red, including the red caps, and that is confused with the 14th Brooklyn, which has a lot of red on their hats, now a lot of red all over some of them, and red trousers. So anyways, that is that. Yeah. It's a lot of guys doing bloody push-ups, but I'm not sure what else. All right, so now the Union's making some progress into the CSA's tickets. Got them down about halfway. Again, nobody asked me, but I would say you'd probably want the defenders in taking losses by 27 minutes. You can always make that up down the clock. That's assuming no cap recap, but now that the Union has decided to engage and make it a hot contest, if the CSA continues at this ticket churn. But you know what? They're about even with the Union, so as a CSA, yeah, maybe you just do that for a while. I know it's easier to say up here than elsewhere, but I never have loved that wide movement from the Union. I'm not saying it because I'm a CSA Arty guy and you guys come over and skirmish us. I don't care. Like, for the amount of rifles and bayonets it takes out of the fight for so long, and if the CSA Arty guys know what to do to mitigate a lot of this, well, what I would do is I threw the caisson lid up, and then I move them up in front of the guns, and if everybody does that, it's very hard to get a lot of plink going. It's not worth, I don't think it's worth a company back here. You could have that company stand up here and just fire there and alternate. And in the end, what CSA could do here, Arty, is you get charged, just run over to here. And you will have taken the Union entirely out of the fight for whatever time they've gone over there. So, I know some people think that bravery is a thing in this game. Well, considering you have the ability to respawn, it kind of obviates the important thing that bravery might be tested by, like mortality. It's a thinking man's game with some skill, but it's an interesting chess match because you're not the only player on your side, and frequently you can't control as much as you would like to. Everybody it's like a game of team chess, I guess, where the pieces aren't always exactly the same, and yeah, we'll stop that analogy there. Don't go. Don't go. So. Got one CSA flag there. You got the second back there. Oh, you got third there. I guess the fourth one is in this tree line. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Confederate. I don't know. I don't know where that fourth one is. Maybe it'll manifest shortly. Did they get one of those guns out? Oh, maybe he wheeled it straight back? Not sure. Alright. So the ticket toll might be wearing on the CSA at this point. I mean,
the Arty can't run out their bullets and we just crouch.
Yeah. But it's hard to put effective ticket drain on them. I know as I say that, right, the counterpoint plays in the background, but it's also on that Arty to realize when you don't really have a shot. If you want, depending on how good the coordination is in CSA Arty, you can just load up probably only two guns with double canister. Just point them at that field, and you can use the other four to productively fire at stuff. If they run in, you pull the cord and you run out of bounds, or not run out of bounds, you run back pretty much to where those guys are there, and then you get to deal some tickets to the attackers, and they won't get yours in return. Oh, there they are. Oh. That's 14th Brooklyn, yeah. The Union is getting quite a few guns up here. So that's 1, 2, 3. So that's a good investment in the late game. 4 guns. But you gotta hold them into the late game. And so, because the CSA can get so many so close, and they can just run over you. I really wouldn't be worried about Grand Theft artillery at that range. That would have to be a prolonged hold by the CSA. Seems like so few units are actually engaged. It seems like it's been fairly light over here. They must have great eyesight. My hybrid boomer millennial eyesight just does not see what they're seeing, but that seems like it's been slow. I think these guys had it rough a little earlier, and I think it's cooled down a bit. You're trading volleys at, I don't know, 175 yards or so. Those guys are also shooting at, I don't know, man. 150, 200 yards, some of those shots. Seems like the brunt of the fighting was done by the group that, has now lost their flag? Well, the good news is, I don't know if that was planned or not, but they lost it back here. Don't tell me they just ran it forward. No, that's the Gentle as a Lamb one. It's the CSA one. All right, well. I will tell you what I'm learning is quite good is canister from a height. It kind of shoots almost a kind of double column of shot, and from an elevated position, it just rakes an entire area. Just will go right down the line. So if you can find a decent angle up there, maybe leave double canister and that'll be a good early guard against the CSA quick brushing you out of the woods. Alright. So we have 2 Union companies here with flags. A third not that far off. Trying to see the number of corpses here. Probably not many, right? Probably not that many. You have a fairly high corpse count, I thought, but overall, that seems pretty fruitless. I think just turning the caisson lids up and leaving some double canister, you could deal with this threat. That is a pain, though, at the end, when the Union's going to go to the cap for the final time. The Union comes up, tries to knock you off of Arty, kills whoever's up here, and then just comes right down the turnpike to sandwich any of the CSA who are usually between that Union group and that part of the turnpike. It can be brutal if you don't know it's coming. This guy's got to be on cap, I think. Or are they like 2 steps away? We're not far. I'm surprised these guys are not on cap. Because cap extends hiding in a bush. It is the best part of War of Rights. Make sure to check those bushes. I feel like I'm giving instructions to a young one on Easter egg hunting, right? There's the canister, and let's see if we can see. So that's kind of the line it takes, right? So when you're elevated, right, that's just gonna saturate. If you got like a blob moving towards you, play the numbers game. You're gonna get a bunch of hits. Yeah, you gotta skedaddle out of there. Remember, you can always finish your reload later, but you can't finish your reload and you can't shoot if you're looking at your respawn screen. That looks encouraging for the CSA. Alright, so the Union is down here. It's got shots into Pogue. Pogue, this is always just kind of a forlorn position for Arty to be in. A lot of skirmishing and out of line deaths. It's easy for that group from where they are now to run up on the fence here. They wouldn't be too far from friendlies. You could be down here and they can just get you in a very sick crossfire, and so I prefer to pull back a little bit if we can. You just retire the guns by fire. Just use the recoil to back you up. And that way the mobile caissons will be your bullet catchers. They're moving off? My next benchmark, again, if I were the attacker, would be get the defenders to taking losses by 17 minutes. Got 2 flags over here. And that 3rd flag, I think, is supposed to be over here. Flag. Huh. 1 CSA flag, 2 CSA flags. Alright, so they've taken the group off of skirmishing there. So there must be 2 groups in the woods. That's the only thing I can think of. Nothing's down. Yeah, nothing's down.
Them 2 hours south.
I got it aimed lower.
281 on the server. We're getting there.
No, that's not.
Are we gonna see a cap? Move up those 2 companies, maybe eventually bring that one up and keep that last company back. I have a feeling the CSA really wants to wipe the Arty and then come through and behind the groups that are on cap and get their flags down. That way not only do they get to respawn on the likely higher ticket level of the Union. Yeah, you can see the Union's got about a quarter of a morale stage on them. But I would think about holding a Union group back and just making them pay a heavy price. Make sure your Arty guys get out so they don't die in skirmishing, and try not to lose the flags. Alright. So 1 company's now going out to join the field. I assume it's to eventually come back in on the fence. Alright, the Flying V. Yeah, so there are 2 CSA officers back here. ride. Let's go on board with the riders. As much as I don't love spending a lot of time in the woods. I saw 2 guys drop. I'd be surprised if the Union hit that many. But they hit enough. So now if the Union caps, the CSA only gets 6 minutes of counterattack. But at least there are 2 Union companies back here. You don't want to get drawn too far forward. If there are 2 full CSA companies in there, this is not the biggest Union company. If you get overrun, Arty's next, and then these guys will be defeated in detail. It's hard to know what's going on your right.
Oh, that artillery just got answering up. That's cool.
But yeah, having hit that milestone, you know, about 2 minutes before. So there's just no CSA over here, right? They've pulled back to that old position. Yeah, Union's got to come up. Got to come up. Either look for Adelines and skirmishing, do a quick run through, because are they joined by the, yeah, okay, so that's at least good. You got both companies, so that means both flags moving through here. CSA Arty guys have got to pay attention. Like, come on, man. Your left alt keys work. It's an open field. CSA looks like they want the Union cap early. We got that very, I guess that's a pretty normal size company for this one. But the Union may figure we'll just get them deep enough into taking losses in the next 8 or 9 minutes. I don't know, man. Maybe, but I think the CSA could be cagey enough with their tickets that you're gonna panic on the back end, and you're gonna make a lot of headlong charges you don't want to, because you don't want to give up, which at this point is a relatively small tickets lead. And so someone is capping. See, it's not that big of a tickets lead. And as a CSA, I would just want to stay out of braking as long as possible. That dude needs to get the memo to do that. Alright, well, whoever was capping stopped, so. Yeah, I was going to say, an even more well-protected position rather than an open field. 30 yards is the fence back here. That is a giant firing line. I hope the Union is not of the mind that, you know, we worked so hard for this small...
Run up there, fire some shots, and then you're gonna have to
They don't care about that. Those guys are not going to fall for that. They're not going to worry about you camping until probably it's like a quarter, third cap, or left and taking losses. I don't know, this just feels like one of those cases where the Union does not want to give up the small tickets lead they want, and they're going to bleed a lot of time to maintain it. I understand you want the lead going into final push, last stand, but deal with that when they recap on braking. Let them have it, you know, a quarter of the way through braking, and then you can shoot them down if you give yourself plenty of time.
Let the traders.
But the Union is quickly stealing that time from them future selves by playing it so. I think KG, CSA hasn't been rainbowing that much that I've seen. But what do I know? I frequently think the Union's out of it, and then they absolutely end up doing it right, so. That company, the 14th, is coming over. Yikes. Huh. Huh. Got some Union pushing up here. It's something. I think they're just looking to catch out of lines, skirmishing, anything that's going to help put the CSA into braking. Where are we on relative tickets? It is darn close. All right, the CSA is starting to converge here. They got 2 companies, so 2 flags into that fight. I don't quite get it. But maybe they're just trying to keep the CSA in a line so their Arty can enfilade them. The Union is, I think, all but given up on that part for their Arty. Might be that 1 company left. And I think the Unions might. It's hard to tell here about who's gonna hit braking first, but we'll see. My guess is the Union wants it at least half blue, if not. I think 3/4 blue is a bit brave at this point, but Union appears to me at least to be bleeding tickets now. I wonder if a bunch of folks up here were in skirmishing. They've now lost the flag. That guy's probably going to die out of line. And this group decided to stand back here and shoot, likely unproductively, because yeah, because they were all friendlies. I do not understand that. And that was the alert that you've gone braking first. Now there's really no disadvantage. I mean, it's possible you could still mess up the cap with them deep into taking losses, but well, all right, so some of the CSA are coming in, some are moving around. All right, we have another company, so 3 companies are now on the turnpike. I think Arty is naked because that group got wiped up there without a flag. Not a huge deal. Okay, CSA is on braking, and now it's going to be 6.5 minutes. The CSA have to come in. I believe some of the CSA have 42s. Union's going to get that flag back. One from the CSA does not want that. He whiffed his shot, so there's that. And there's this group that is still really far out here. They need to lend their cap weight to all of this. That was an excellent volley from the CSA. This group is getting absolutely hammered. If you can... I don't know if there's enough... Is there an officer up? I don't know what that was, but you're that much closer to going final push. Final push is not really... Well, it could be a concern. I think it ticks down to around 2 minutes or so. But it is now going to be a hot shootout, assuming the Union doesn't lose any more flags. It looks like they have all 4 up. Spawn is nearby. And as long as it's bloody and kind of 50-50 on each side, the Union should be able to pull this out. You have CSA guys who are deciding to spawn main. Okay. Yes, hiding in a bush to ambush Arty, guys. A great pastime. Yeah, I was wondering, you know, you might want to listen as to why those guns aren't shooting, but that is the Union Arty officer, so he's got some support, those guns can start dumping on the CSA who are here. I don't think the Union needs to go in here, man. You were shooting and capping anyways. But since you're likely gonna win, anything can work. GG for the Union for pulling that one back, and I'm not sure what else the CSA could have done except full turtle, but that is just so hard to do in pubs and to enforce it. So yeah, this Union guys got more guts than I do to sit there and not cap early.